So what do we say? Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! So this is a quick bit about Kanye. I am not wearing any makeup because I wanted to get this up in one day. Hopefully I can get this up. Just to do a quick overview, I feel really bad for him and I hope him the best. I think that what he said was irresponsible and damaging, but I don't think that I would label him as like enemy number one or a coon or anything like that, like Uncle Tommy. I really hate to strip someone's blackness based on their trauma, right? Because he's still going through the trauma of his mother. He's going through his own personal traumas in his own head. We know that he had an opioid addiction from getting liposuction, and people are talking mess about that, and it's just a lot, right? There's a lot on Kanye, and I do want the best for him and hope the best for him because he has 3 little ones at home that he needs to love and give his best to, and he has a wife and family he needs to take care of. So I wish him the absolute best. I'm just very disappointed, and it's not even that I'm disappointed in any sort of real way. I'm just kind of disappointed in general because, you know, I can't cancel Kanye because I was never subscribed. I can't mute him because he was never playing. So I just, you know, just as a figurehead, as a black person who is popular in this world and who does command the ears and hearts of a lot of different people, a lot of different races of people, a lot of different classes of people, for him to make those comments as though like breaking the chains, the mental chains of slavery is just so easy and all you have to do is let them go and it's mental. Like, some people can't be letting their chains go because they're worried about trying to pay their bills or they're worried about how they're going to feed their family. Like, they don't have the luxury to sit back and like think about things on a philosophical level. Like, the very real tangible results of slavery are like alive and well in this country with our people, and it's irresponsible. It's the only word I can say to say something like that. But at the same time, I have to have compassion for him because I'm like, you've like taken the step off of the diving board. I'm not sure if you're mid-fall, you know, like, and I want that fall. I want when he hits the water to not be as bad as I think it might be. So, yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna go into some things I had to say about that, and hopefully that was clear. I just wanted to give you guys an overview before you go into it because you might get lost. Okay, so if you guys already know the controversy that has happened this week, he went on TMZ to air some things out or to clarify things, and Kanye talked about himself being a free thinker and how that's what this country is built on, and he doesn't understand why he can't be a free thinker, and he's working on freeing his mind. And within talking about those things, he talked about slavery, and he said, I don't know if you guys watch TMZ, but Kanye is in front of the camera in sort of an office space, right? A space that has a bunch of cubicles, people are working, and he says this: when you hear slavery was about 400 years, for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it was all y'all? At that point he said that, and there is a brother sitting next to him with dreads, and there was this like moment of pause, and the brother with the dreads like had a moment, didn't confront Kanye in that moment, which I don't know why. I think he was just trying to process what just had been said in front of him. And then later on, Van Lathan, who is a part of the staff, stood up from his cubicle and addressed Kanye. But first, what I want to say, so after watching that, I went back and watched an interview with Charlamagne the God and Kanye West. I watched the first like 14 minutes of the interview. I could not sit through the whole thing. It's an hour and 45 minutes. And I started to just listen to Kanye because I haven't heard his voice. I don't really know him. I'm not a fan of his, so I don't know much about him, and I just wanted to hear him talk, give me a bit about himself. And he was talking about how he uses the world as therapy, and how he was just having a really hard mental month or year, especially after that his wife was robbed in Paris, and how he was with her, and he heard later on that the robbers were waiting for him to leave in order to do that, and so he felt, you know, like he had put his wife in danger, or that if he had just been there, you know, this wouldn't have happened to her. Another thing that happened is that his music wasn't doing well on the radio. It was doing well everywhere else, but on the radio, he didn't understand why that was happening. And it felt like after the Taylor Swift incident, nothing has been the same since then. And he's trying to like get back. Kanye is constantly trying to top himself from that success and that feeling that he had from his second album, and he hasn't been able to get back to that. He doesn't understand what's happening, like what's the formula, why is it off, why is it wrong. So anyways, like, you know, just a little backstory on that, because I wanted to see where he was coming from, to see him. I went back and watched the TMZ bit again and listened to Van Lathan's response. I listened to a little bit of what Charlemagne the God had to say about him after the interview, and I'm just trying to piece something together, because I'm like, why would somebody say that? And I think that the reason why Kanye made the comment about slavery being a choice is because he's trying to free his mind. And I think that he was trying to use that as a way of explaining how slavery and how bondage can be mental and physical, and that might be indicative by how long slavery lasts, even though there were so many people trying to free the slaves, that like for him to say that, even if it had come out correctly, there are so many people who were trying to get the slaves from the South, there were so many people who were trying to get out of slavery, there's like a lot like building up to the Civil War. So like for him to say that 400 years like we were just passive, that our ancestors were just passive sitting in slavery, like, you know, in shackles in their brain and in shackles on their feet, is wrong. It's false. Like that's not what was happening. People weren't just sitting back in their shackles of their brain. Like there was a lot going on, and it's crazy that someone who has such a large platform could make those comments and not think about it. And that brings me to exactly what Van Lathan said, is that Kanye, you can believe what you want, you can say what you want, however your voice is too large for you to get on TMZ and say that slavery is a choice. You have to be responsible. Like you're allowed to go through your things, you're allowed to have your feelings, you're allowed to say what you want to say, but you can't say things that are damaging to the culture, to the community, and to the Black people of the country in which you hail from. You can't say things like that. Feels like he's giving other people license to make these comments and to think these crazy things about slavery and about slaves, as though like all they had to do was just break the mental bondage and they would have freed themselves. Like, no. I don't understand why that's confusing, and why he hasn't made a statement retracting that. I mean, I guess he's tried to sort of fix the issue. Like he went on a Twitter rant saying that he was talking about prison of the mind and like, you know, slavery of the mind and all that stuff. And so like, yeah, we get it, but it's still like, is not a cohesive like statement. I need him to get on Snapchat or Instagram Live or something and make a statement about what he said and how he said and how it was wrong and how he misrepresented himself and he didn't explain it the way he should have. Like the thoughts that Kanye is having in his mind makes me think that he should sit down and write them out and like do research on them. And you know, you can make silly comments like you support Trump even though you don't really know what he is about, more so the fact you're just excited about the fact that this rebel came through and took over the Republican Party and then won the highest, you know, this person who was not even a politician in the slightest just swooped in and became president, and he admires that and he thinks that's, you know, interesting, and he sees a lot of himself in Trump and understands like, you know, where Trump is coming from. And that's fine if you want to like then put yourself in bed with him without really thinking about more than just that bravado, thinking about his actual policies and thinking about what he's actually doing to people in this country. Like, it's fine. Comparing him to Obama is crazy, but like whatever. I can't cancel Kanye because he was never like, I was never subscribed, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that I'm not going to, he's not blacklisted for me. I just feel really bad for him. I feel really bad for Kanye West. It's like he's just so rich and he's still trying to hold on to the fact that he's Black. I think Kanye thinks the fact that he is Black is what limits him, and so he tries to do like all of these things and people keep reminding him that he's Black, and then he's like, oh yeah, I keep on getting reminded, but at some point I'm just gonna completely ignore it. I see where Ye is going, and I don't care that he goes. I don't have a bone in that fight, you know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about it. It's just such a pity that he would make those comments, and it's so sad that someone who's so smart and so like thought-provoking and talented is now at that point where he's starting to forget that there are chains around people that aren't just easily like, oh, take off the mental chains. Like he can take off his mental chains and he can begin to spread his wings as a person and do what he wants because he's so rich. I'm not saying that he doesn't work hard. He absolutely works hard, but you can discover great things about yourselves, you know, about yourself when you have a lot of money. Okay guys, so that is the end of this video. let me know what you think down below. You know, as always, this is a place where we have a conversation. Tell me if you've all the way decided to cancel him, if he was somebody that was near to you and this hurt you, or you're somebody who, like me, is kind of like, this sucks and it's definitely a terrible thing, but canceling and, you know, all those things aren't really something that I do, because I want to see the person as a human. And I don't want to, I mean, I was never a footprint in Kanye's sand, you know what I'm saying? I don't buy any of his things, so he's not gaining a fan or losing a fan when it comes to me. But I think that he is going to be definitely put in like the dumb artist category, like where anything they say, I'm just kind of like, you're not smart though, so. You know, and I don't think he's dumb. I just think he's not smart with how he speaks and what he says. So he's still black. I'm not going to take his black card away, but I'm going to acknowledge that he is living and serving in his trauma very differently than me. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.